Recently I was out with a friend of mine who has 2 kids and he would like to teach them chess. So he motivated me to create this video, how to play chess, fast and furious method. I'm going to show you 5 easy steps that can boost your progress. This video is very nice if you are a completely beginner, if you are an ambitious teacher, or just a parent and you would like to teach your chess. How usually people try to teach, right? First things first is they are trying to show the knight. This is a big error and you should not do this one, because the knight is little difficult piece and we are going step by step. We should learn first of all the easiest pieces. And how to do that? Let's open up a board actually here. I'm going to open a board. I'm going to clean everything, and the easiest piece is the rook, because the rook can go back, forth and right or left like the cross. This is very easy piece, so you can show this one in a real board and motivate the other person or your kid to move it. Every piece moves in one square, so we can grab the rook, move it somewhere. The second easy piece actually is the bishop. The bishop is moving diagonally in a line like this. It's a diagonal with the same color. If we see same colors here, you can move your bishop in this way. By the way, I have on my website, you can go on my website and you can find a free course about that, how to move the pieces. I have separate videos for each piece, very detailed. If you go there, you can scroll down and after that you can register for free or click the login button. Then you can go up again and you can see a new, if you logged in, you can see a new button here called profile. If you click this one, you can see a new page, the profile page, and there we have another sub menu, and this menu is my lessons. You should click this one. If you logged in from mobile or tablet, then the menu should be smaller and you can find it in the right, left or right or left in the top of the page. It will be squeezed around there, so you should click my lessons and then you can see the page from which you can find all the available lessons. We have some freebies. On freebies here you can click newbie 500 and from there you can see the easiest way to learn chess. You can find some introduction, you can see some videos about that, and after that I have separate videos about the chessboard, the rook, the bishop, the pawns, everything you can find there. Last but not least, little later we have about the world chess champions. You can see a small video about that to learn something about them, the great players of all time, the rating system, what is the rating system, the ELO point, and last but not least, how to find a chess club. Now let's go back. If you just teach the rook and after that the bishop, and if you combine these two pieces, put them together, then you can create the queen. So you can ask the other person, if he was careful, how the queen is moved. So the queen can move like the rook. It's back and forth, as you can see, right or left, or she can move like the bishop diagonally. So I'm going to move the queen here like the bishop, or then I can move it like the rook. These are the very easy pieces. Then you should learn about the king. The king is another piece. It's like a small queen. We can move the king around, but only one square. It's a very, very slow piece, so he can go around one square at a time. Step 1 is how the pieces are moved. Step number 2 is how the pieces can capture. Every piece can capture in the way it is moving. So here we have a very nice game actually, and it's only two kings, and this game illustrates this. We have to play actually black and white, and our goal with white pieces is to go in the other back rank. So the king, if king goes in this line and touch any of these squares, he's going to win. The same we can say with the black. The black would like to go here in the first rank, and the game can go like that. King is going up, we are moving forward, and now we have a little problem. Actually black's king has little problem because he has to move away. For example, can go there, and usually white is winning because white can reach this 8th rank earlier. White can go there and white is winning. And we should learn here some very important rules. First of all, we should not go very close to the enemy king because white can capture us here. As you seen earlier in the video, two great players went very close to the enemy king. He went on the square that the other can capture him. This is not very good, but it can happen even to the best. And how to teach here the other guy? This is a very nice move, but here black should be careful. Black should lose one move. And how to do that? He should not go forward, he can go in the step. He can go here on d8, and after this march we can go forward, but now black can go on this square and he has the opposition. Opposition is a special word and the kings are each other, they are facing each other, and the rule says that one has the move, white has the move here, and the other guy has the opposition. White has the move, black has the opposition, and this is a very nice way in order to defend. You can see with this nice game you can learn the basic endgame principles, and for example after that we can follow the white king, and now he cannot go forward actually because we are blocking him. This one game, the other step is the step number 3 is the material, how to keep your pieces on the board first of all, and we have a rule about that. When your opponent played something, he would like to capture something. For that reason, you should ask yourself what he would like to take. This is very important question that you should make. This is another game, and actually these pawns, we can imagine that all of these pawns are golden coins, right? And both kings, white or black, can capture everything. So you can set up this position in a real board and you can start playing something like that, and there the king can capture here the pawn. I cannot do it here in this board actually, technically I cannot do it, but in general in real board you can capture pawns. So after the game you should be careful not to go very close to the enemy king. You should learn this one, and the person who captures more coins is the winner. This is another nice way actually in order to understand the material, the step number 3. And let's go forward. Then we should learn about the knight. In order to learn the knight is difficult actually. I have a separate video about the knight. It's more difficult piece, so you can teach the knight in different day. And in English we have the letter L. It's a letter L like this, but if we scrolling around, if we turn it around, we have another letter actually. Let's make it like that. It's a Greek letter, it's letter C. How the knight is moving, you can move it like that, L shape or C shape like Greek. And in order to understand it a little more better, you can put some pawns here in the squares that knight can go. And you can see we can create a letter C, Greek letter, or letter L. It's like that. We have a knight in light squares, and this knight will go in dark squares. This is another picture actually. You can imagine this picture of how the knight is moving, but we're not going in these squares very close to the knight. We should go little around it. You see, knight is in white square and it can go on dark squares. This is one idea, one picture, and if we just move the knight here on a dark square, now we should put the pawns in other squares, in light squares. And it's a very nice way how to teach the knight, and after that you can ask the other person to place the pawns by itself or just to capture the pawns with the knight in order to understand the knight movements. Then we have a nice game. Actually, this is the starting position of the game. You can set up the board like that, and I just flip the knights actually. It's not the correct way to put the knight like that. I have a black knight here, and the game goes like that. We have white or black knight, the other pieces cannot move, and you should capture everything with the white knight, all the black pieces with white knight, and black can do the same. So the person who can manage to do it faster is the winner. Everyone who can capture this the enemy pieces faster than the other. This is another game. And now let's go to another game. Another cool game. You can imagine again all these pawns are golden coins, and here you should be careful about the material. For example, you can capture something, let's say it's white's turn, he can capture something, you can capture the black or white, doesn't matter, but you should be careful not to go there very close to the enemy knight because the other can capture you. And at the end of the day, the person who captures more golden coins is the winner. This is another cool game. By the way, I have another video for little more advanced players, which is your favorite piece. You can see it later or after that video. We have little more games now, and we're going to see how the pawn is moving. You can do that in the same day or in another day, I don't know, but the pawns are standing in the second rank. We cannot put a pawn in the first rank, and from there you should move forward your pawn, like marching. You should go forward one square at a time. Pawns are a little difficult, they have little more rules, movements. The first idea is to go forward, right? Go forward one square. Now the pawns are very different from the pieces, because the pieces can capture in the way they are moving, but we cannot say the same about the pawns. For example, if we put an obstacle in front of the pawn, for example a rook or something, now the pawn cannot capture the rook like that. The pawns are capturing diagonally, left or right. For example, if I put different pieces, the rook here or the knight there, now white pawn can move forward if it likes, or it can capture the rook, or it can capture the knight. You can decide actually. So if you just move the pawns, if you understand the pawns like that, actually the white pawns are like this, they are climbing, they are going forward in this way, and black pawns in the other side of the board go downstairs, they go down like that. So this is the way how the board is placed. You can imagine this board without the kings. Actually you can set up this one, and the goal here is to go forward and penetrate, break through like the enemy pawns, and put one of your pawns in the last rank. This is another cool game. You can start playing, and the winner is the person who can capture everything or can go penetrate to the enemy rank. If this game is easy, then you can add another pawn. Actually you can do it with 4 pawns against 4. This is another cool game. Now we have something different. You can combine the material now. We are going more advanced actually. We have 3 pawns here against the bishop. This is another cool game actually, because you are going to understand the value of the pieces. The bishop is approximately 3 pawns. It's worth approximately 3 pawns. It's more advanced lesson. You should not do it in the same day, but step by step, by game, by playing, you're going to understand it easier. And now we have 3 pawns, and the idea, the goal again is the same. The pawns would like to go in the 8th rank there, or they would like to capture the bishop. This is the main idea. And the bishop would like to capture all the pawns. This is how bishop is winning. For example, we can go something like that, and now after b5 you can see I'm going to move randomly the pieces, and this is a nice picture in which bishop stopped all the pawns, and now every pawn move is worth a loss. Actually, if it goes there, the bishop is going to capture something. And we have another rule here. Another rule actually said that you should not put the pawns here in light squares, because the bishop can block you very easily, but you can go in the same color by attacking the bishop and capture the bishop, or threaten this one. You should be careful, because the bishop can go backwards and attack your pawns like this. Actually, these are some techniques. You can do the same actually game with the knight, but it is a little more difficult. Now the knight is worth 3 pawns as well, but it's a little more difficult, and black should be extremely accurate here how to block the pawns or to do something with the pawns, because if the pawns marching forward too much, too close to the enemy last rank, then the pawns are very powerful. This is another game. You can try another game with 5 pawns against the rook. You can see this one, but don't put the rook in a way to capture a pawn instantly. And again, imagine that the kings are outside. And last but not least, you can try queen. These are missing. The queen against the pawns. Someone can get the pawns and someone the queen. So you're going to try here. And you're going to learn something else here. Another very important idea. And the important idea is to give some double attacks like this. You are attacking, for example, let's play something with white, let's say, and we're going to play, now we are capturing the pawn actually. Let's play something like that, and now I'm going to play something like this. You see I'm attacking this pawn and this pawn. I need to prepare double attacks actually in order to capture the pawns, and queen can go backward and the pawn should go forward, try to do something to promote, to go to the other side of the board. If you just learn all the previous things, then the next step is to learn the checkmate. Checkmate is something difficult, and you should not teach this one instantly. In order to understand checkmate, you should understand the space. It's a little more difficult. And what is the checkmate? Checkmate is when you are attacking the enemy king. You can see the rook would like to capture the king, and king cannot go anywhere. King cannot go forward because we have the king, our king there. This is the basic checkmate idea. We can do it with a rook or with a queen actually. This is the back rank mate. And a little more difficult idea and a task for you is to set up the board like that. We have the rook here, and our goal is to somehow to put our king in opposite to the other king. If we imagine this position, for example, then we are going to play the rook on the back rank and create a checkmate. But you should be careful not to give random checks like this, because if you just give checks, then the enemy king can go away. You should keep your rook in the 7th rank and try to put your king against the enemy king. And here we have another idea. Let's say the idea is how to lose a move. Sometimes you're going to need this technique. This is an endgame technique, very important technique, because we need to lose a move. Let's say he is going to move back and forth in these two squares, and we can lose a move by playing, for example, rook c7. He can play this, we can go there, and then we can play on a7. What we did, he just go in this way, and we put the rook here, one square, another square there, and then we returning. So we lost one tempo, one time, by creating this process. This is a nice way to understand the coordination of the pieces, and in order to make it a little more difficult, you can set up the board like this: the rook and king in the initial position and the enemy king in the middle of the board. So our idea, our task is to go here opposite to enemy king, and then you should go a check in order to close the enemy in one of the files, for example here. So accept my congratulations for going so forward, and you learn all of these things. Now let's see the step number 5, and step number 5 is time. We have something to do, and our opponent have a plan as well. So the player who has a better plan is going to win the game. I set it up the board like this, and we're going to learn the anti-chess. So the rules are opposite to normal chess, and our goal here is to give up all of our pieces. And for example, I can play a move like that, and opponent plays something like this. Now I cannot do anything else because I cannot move any of other pieces, but I have to capture here because I can capture something. This is the rule, and our goal is to give everything, even the king, all of the pieces. This is a very nice and very entertaining game, and it will teach you some things. For example, now he has to capture the pawn. This is the only normal move that he can do, and we are going to play something with white pieces. Now you should learn that with chess we have options, we have different options, and now black should be careful because he can capture this pawn, the queen, or that one. So he has a lot of different moves, and because we have anti-chess opposite to real chess, in real chess we are going to capture the enemy best piece, the queen. But here we should do something opposite. We should capture for a pawn, for example. And now he is forced. He can capture there, forced to do something. He can capture a pawn. He can capture with a bishop, the knight, or the king. In this entertaining way, you are going to learn how the pieces are moving. And I'm going to show you one actually little trick here. You can see we have opening theory. Lead chess has this idea. We have a lot of opening theory. The best move is e3. One of the lines, and here usually black plays something like that in order to force white capture that pawn. But if he plays like this, d6, this move is losing. Believe it or not, it's losing, because we can play queen here, lure him to capture our queen, and now we put the king there. He is forced to capture this one, and the bishop is the worst piece on anti-chess because he can capture something. But you should understand the time as well. Now you have time, and he was forced to capture this, to capture these two pieces, and you have little time to do something there. And in this time you should plan, actually step by step, not from the first day. You should plan how to what to do in meanwhile. And you played this move. This is a very nice move. He can capture there, and the rook here on a2. So after this capture, you wasn't forced to recapture his bishop. You need to foresee moves ahead, actually, to see forward a lot of moves. And now we played this one, and we have little more time unless he's going to capture this. The best move is this, if I remember correctly. And now this. We are forcing him to capture something, and we need the bishop to turn his bishop back. So we capture something there, and now we can give up all the pawns like this. He can capture there, we can give up this one, and we can give that one, and now we can give the rook. Actually, he can capture, giving up the pawn, and last but not least, we have the worst piece, the bishop, and luckily enough, we can give it away on h6. So the one person who is going to win because he's giving up all of his pawns, the other person is going to lose. Actually, the black lost the game here, but the black player will be happy because he just captured a lot of pieces. This is the best way to teach chess. Good luck! Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Here it's time for action. This is the initial page of my website, and here you can click Give me access to get access to free lessons. You can read this page, and if you scroll down, here you can add your name and your email. After that, you're going to take a free lesson how to avoid chess blunders. So, time for action is now, and you're very welcome to join my mail list.